at the Diwali festival this month, which is going to be held at Federation Square. Okay, so I don't know who submitted their email to Herbalife. If you haven't submitted your email to Herbalife saying that you want to get involved in it, you're probably too late. I don't know. Maybe you can send your email and fingers crossed you can still get in on it. Okay. They're expecting over 60,000 people at this festival. Okay. The Diwali festival, which is Indian festival.
And what site are you sending the email into?
You just send it to Herbalife.
Send it to dmo@herbalife.com.
There you go.
At Herbalife.
Yeah.
dmo@herbalife.com. Okay.
Diwali festival.
Yeah. So what we're talking about this evening is a concept. It's one of the tools, one of the many tools we use in our business to help people generate customers. Okay, and it's what we call a roadshow. And you can set up these roadshows at any type of venue, shopping malls, supermarkets. You can do it really anywhere that you get permission to do so. Okay, we do them sometimes at expos. Between my wife and I, we are the coordinators for the roadshows in Victoria. So we're setting up expos. We're trying to get one at least every month to get everybody involved in. Okay, so it's open to all distributors, whether you're part of our organisation or not. We're all part of Mark Hughes' organisation, and we all work together.
As long as you've been trained.
As long as you've been trained, which is the training that we're doing right now. Okay. So this is a concept we brought back with us from Malaysia, and what we love about this concept is it really comes back to the basics of what the business is all about, and that's talking to people every day. Okay, and with a roadshow you can easily talk to 10, 20, 30 people a day in a shift. It's that simple. The idea of the concept, you need to take some notes. It's really simple concept, okay? We're offering what we call a free wellness evaluation, okay? Which we get people on a scale similar to this one, okay? Now, there's a lot of you who have these scales and there's different models, but they all primarily do the same thing, okay? So this gives different body readings, and then we explain to the prospect what the body reading means and how our products can benefit them and help them with these results. Okay, so basically we're offering a free wellness evaluation. So basically we attract someone to our stand, and Ali will go through a whole sort of mini demonstration on how we do that. And then from attracting them to a stand, we get them to fill in a survey, we put them on the scale, we get the readings, and we explain what each body reading means. Okay, and then we talk a little bit about the company, not too much detail about the company. We talk about how they can improve their health with the products, and then we, get some referrals from them and make the sale. Okay, so it's really that simple. It's a lot of fun. You've got to have a great attitude doing it though. Okay, just like everything in life or in Herbalife, you've got to have a great attitude. Okay, so how to dress to a roadshow is really important. No jeans. Okay, it must be at least slacks, and it could be a Herbalife branded t-shirt, which is fine, or something that says Herbalife on it. Or if you don't have any Herbalife gear, as long as you're wearing some kind of Herbalife button, whether it's I've lost weight or lose weight now, ask me how, what have you. Okay, even stand up, Alex, and just show them, the bling bling that Alex has got. It doesn't matter. Something that's branding Herbalife. It could be even the Lionel Messi thing, okay, which is a great, attractor right now, especially. Okay, so
I just wanted to add that if not only with your image, with what you're wearing, because we are obviously representing Herbalife in the community when we're in the malls and when we're doing these expos, it's very important to look nice and neat and professional. At the same time, obviously, we're still going to have that fun aspect to it, but it's also very important to be there on time for your roadshow shift. So when we do the roadshows, we set them up in a way that we try not to put too many new people on the shifts at the same time, because obviously then if they're not sure what they're doing, or they're not confident, they're not sure how to explain the results, it's not fair on them, and it's not fair on the people that we're obviously speaking to out there. So we try and balance it up. Someone who's really should be everyone who's had a training that is actually involved in the roadshow, because even if it's the first time for somebody and someone's really experienced, then the whole shift is being spent on training the person when obviously people have paid money for the roadshow, so we want people to be able to generate leads and do business straight away. So we do try and balance up the shifts, but being on time is very important. So whatever the hours are of the expo, like if the expo runs from 10 till 7, we might split that day up into 2 shifts, and we put like 3 or 4 people on each shift. So really important that you do show up on time, because it just looks very unprofessional. It's happened several times in numerous locations where people haven't shown up for their shift, and it's left one person trying to do the roadshow, and it's not fun by yourself. And also 2 people didn't come to a shift, so nobody was there for the shift in the morning. So booths aren't set up correctly, doesn't look good in the shopping malls, doesn't give a good image for Herbalife. Okay, so very important to commit to your shift. And if you put your name down and you can't make it, it's your responsibility to find someone to replace you, but let the coordinators know. So if we're organising the roadshow, it's okay to find someone to replace you, but make sure you let us know, so that we know whether or not it's balanced and it's not a new person that's never done it before. So there's a few things like this that you all need to be aware of. And but otherwise, I think
because we all write this down. We all have a PhD. Write it down. What's a PhD? We're professional Herbalife distributors. Okay, and it's really important to go by that name. Now, if you're a professional, you need to be there on time. You need to believe in what you're doing. You need to stand there with confidence. You need to respect other people's time as well, okay? Because if you're late for a shift, the person that was meant to leave on time to go see his appointment or go see a customer, you've just affected their business because you're late. So if anything, you should be coming early, not late, okay? The roadshow is not a training ground like Ali said. This is the training ground right here, okay? And normally what we've done in the past is, if we haven't had a roadshow training like this, and a new person wants to get involved, we normally put them on a shift with their sponsor, so that they're not using someone else's time, because their sponsor doesn't mind spending time training them up. Okay. So basically, here's the format of a roadshow. The roadshow's got a format to it. Number one is to offer the free wellness evaluation. So you're giving an invitation. In everything in Herbalife, we give some kind of invitation. Today, a lot of guests in the room. We invited a guest. So it's no different in the roadshow. You're inviting someone to have a free wellness evaluation. Okay? From the invitation, we then do an evaluation, which we put them on the scale, get the readings from it. Okay? From the evaluation, we do an explanation. Okay? And then from the explanation, we try and get some referrals before we even start talking about the products. Why do we get the referrals first? Is because if we try and sell them the products before we get the referrals, there's a good chance we won't get the referrals. So you get the referrals first, and then you talk a little bit about the company, just that it's been around for a long time, 30 years. You don't have to go into too much details like listed on the New York Stock Exchange, all that kind of stuff, because they're not interested in that. They're interested in getting healthy. Okay? So you just stick to some of the facts. 31 years in business, 100 million customers, and then you show them some testimonies. Okay? Your story is very important. So one of the first stories in our photo album is our story. Because then they go, really? That was you? And you say, yeah, that was me. I lost 12 kilos in 10 weeks. And this is my wife. She lost 6 kilos in 7 weeks. Show the photos. Then after you've done all the stories, then you can start talking about the products. Now, at a roadshow, unless it's a Herbalife funded roadshow, like the Diwali festival and the expos, only the Herbalife expos and roadshows you can display products. You are not allowed to display products at a roadshow that you do for yourself. Okay? Some people say, why is that so? The reason being is Herbalife doesn't want this company to be like all those other companies out there that they're trying to sell something over the counter. Okay? Our business is all about helping people. We're personal wellness coaches. Okay? So we do not display products at road shows unless it's a Herbalife corporate one. Okay? Make sense?
So just to clarify, if we went to Camberwell Market,
Yep.
say Justin and I went to Camberwell Market,
Yep.
no Herbalife products at all.
No Herbalife products out. No Herbalife products are allowed to be sold on the spot. Okay? So some of you are probably thinking at this point, well, how do I make a sale? You can collect money. You just don't give them anything. Okay? Or you can collect the deposit and then organise the time to go to their house or meet them at a coffee shop to give them the products.
Yeah, you take the money, you can give a receipt, you can organise to meet them afterwards or send it by courier. You make another, meet them in this office. So there's various ways of delivering the product.
Can I ask, do many people do that? Like on the spot, give it
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, they're going to have your name, they're going to have your number, you got your business card. We're representing an image. You got professional Herbalife stands, so they go, well, hang on, these guys can't be here to try and just disappear us.
Another really important way to collect the money is actually opening up a merchant facility. So we're all independent distributors, so you can actually inquire with your local bank. Westpac do have a special rate, special fee, like charges, special rate for Herbalife distributors. So it's a good way to collect money because, as I think Shiraz said, it makes people's choices easier. Yeah. It makes it easier for them to make the decision to buy if they've got a credit card handy.
They're not just handing over cash to somebody they don't know. They're actually.
It's good to say cash or credit. How do you want to pay, cash or credit cards?
Yeah. And most people carry cards around these days more than the cash.
So I recommend everyone set up a merchant facility because I mean you're using it all the time in your.
So you can actually inquire with Westpac for that. You just mentioned you're a Herbalife distributor and you get special rates and stuff too. Okay. The other way is you can set up a PayPal account and have the internet and accept payment that way as well. Whatever it is for you, doesn't matter. These are just tools that you use in your business. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hand it over to Ali to sort of demonstrate how we do a wellness. Well, from the moment we give someone a flyer, how we invite them to have an evaluation, and then take you through that format that I just mentioned.
Okay, so it's really important always to be smiling at a roadshow. It's all about your attitude. So if you've got a really positive attitude and you're smiling and you're having a lot of fun, that is going to attract a lot of people around the booth area. Sometimes though you're at the booth area and people don't come up to you. This is obviously can happen, so we need to be giving the invitation regardless anyway. Just as Roger said, that's the first step, is giving the invitation. So smiling. Generally we at the road shows we use standardized flyers, so we use all similar flyers, we use the same survey sheet, we use the same wellness pass, so it's just standardized really at the roadshow. And if we're doing the wellness roadshow, we're not handing out recruiting flyers. I mean, talking the business side may come up because some people do ask about what we do and how can they do what we do. So it's natural that you may end up talking about the business opportunity briefly, but we're not there to promote the business opportunity. We're there to offer the wellness evaluation. So smiling, walking up to people, not too far out. You don't want to be chasing people in the shopping centre. So a few steps around the booth, no problem. You can hand out a flyer and invite someone in for a free wellness evaluation. What I like to hold, and if you haven't already got these documents, you can just send us an email and we'll send it out. It's just this little sign that says free wellness check, and it's just a good way to sort of hold this up and offer a flyer, say free wellness evaluation while showing this. And it's really easy. People sort of stop and want to have a look at what you're doing, and then you just quickly say that what it is. It takes 5 or 10 minutes. It reads the free body fat, muscle mass, body water, bone mass, metabolic age, and it doesn't take long, 5 minutes, and it's for free. So people generally, are willing to give 5 or 10 minutes of their time because it's quite interesting, isn't it? It's right. It's great information, and you're friendly. Half the time is if you're friendly and you've got a good attitude and there's good energy about you, people want to talk to you anyway. So once they say yes, then you start filling in a survey.
What's your email address, Ali? Your email address?
It's
Email's
written
up on the
there.
board.
There you go.
Okay. If you want to get involved in any roadshows, please send us an email. We'll put you on the list. And when we have expos and what have you, we send it out to everybody. And it's on a first come, first served basis. So whoever gets in first, gets it first. That's simple.
Okay. So this is the survey form. As I said, email us. We'll send you all of this. Now, what I like to do, so when I'm sharing today, it's just from what I do, is I like to ask the people the question, okay? Rather than saying to them, here's a survey, fill it in, and they, it looks quite like there's it's going to take a lot of time, and it's easier when you're asking them the questions to build rapport with the person. So that's really important, is getting to know that person. Like, you've only got a few minutes, that short window of opportunity to sort of find out a little bit about that person. So what I like to do is, what's their names? Say, okay, hi Peter, I'm Ali, nice to meet you. Write the name down, what's your email address, what's your number, and by the way, do you live in the area? So straight away I want to know, are they visiting this shopping centre because they live in the area, or do they work in the shopping centre? Maybe it's at an expo. I want to know, have they travelled far? Does that mean that, like last time we did the Mind, Body, Spirit Expo, so obviously, people have already got some sort of an interest in health and wellness. So I want to know, have they travelled a long distance to come to this area? So you want to find out a little bit about them, and that's going to come really easy if you're asking the questions. The other thing is, if they fill it in, they can just scribble and you can't even understand their email, or they may miss a digit in their number or whatever. So you have control if you're asking the questions. And then you basically, I don't read these questions word for word. I know what the questions are asking. So the first question, for example, says, how would you describe your lifestyle? Active, not enough exercise, or no exercise? I just say, do you exercise? So you don't have to sit there reading word for word. Yeah. Become familiar with the questions on the survey form. And then, do you consider your weight ideal? Yes or no. I just ask them, do you want to lose weight, gain weight, or stay healthy? And then most people, they say they want to lose weight. Never presume that the person, like sometimes you think that they need to lose weight, but that person may not think that. So don't just presume that, oh, you need to lose weight. Yep, so you want to lose weight, right? So don't presume that.
Just carry a mirror.
And also don't assume their ages.
Yeah, don't assume their
Especially
ages.
if they're women.
It's
Made a big mistake.
sometimes you need, obviously you're working with people that you don't know out there, so you have to be quite sensitive sometimes to what you say. You have to be careful with what you're saying. But at the same time, if you've built that bit of a rapport straight away with them, they'll be a little bit more easygoing with you. So try and be relaxed, but obviously do be careful with the questions that you ask. And then, do you suffer from lack of energy or stamina? Yes or no. I say, do you feel tired during the day? Do you need some extra energy? Then the next question is, do you suffer with health issues such as diabetes, cholesterol? I generally say, do you suffer from cholesterol, diabetes, high blood pressure? The three main issues out there. Most people are yes. Okay, yes, so we tick yes. Then, very important, there's a section here that I've noticed a lot of people, when they're doing the roadshows, they actually don't ask about it. And this section is key to helping you to make the sale at the end, helping the person get started on the products, and that is what they eat for breakfast, lunch and dinner. Because we want to know, are they skipping their meals, or are they eating takeaway 3 times a day? Maybe it doesn't look like they're eating much, but then what are they snacking on? They could be snacking on cakes and biscuits and whatever, and that all costs money as well. We want to find out about how much water they're drinking. Doesn't take a lot of time if you just ask, if you're directing them with the questions, and it's very quick to fill this in. And then we're getting their age and their height. And then what we get them to do is we get them to take a seat. We ask them, to take their shoes and socks off, and we're going to get them to stand on the scale so that we can find out their results. So very important that we clean the scale in front of them every time. Every time we have a new person come stand on the scale, you clean it in front of them, because people they're quite relieved when they see you doing that. Oh, good. I'm glad you do that. Some people will say, because we want to be hygienic as well. So we put them on the scale. They stand on it for 30 seconds. You enter in their age, their height, whether they're an athlete or not on the scale. If you're not familiar with the scales, there are some scales in the room. We do recommend you get your own scale. Actually, if you are participating in roadshows, you do have to have your own scale. But in the meantime, practice, become familiar with it. There's nothing worse than you trying to, figure it out while the person's standing there with no shoes on and, no socks on, and it's a bit nervous anyway because they're in the shopping centre or at the expo. So make sure you're familiar with the scale, and then it gives the readings. You tell the person to, put their shoes and socks back on, and then you bring them back to the booth where the stand is, and then you're going to start explaining their results. So I always start with their height and weight. Again, some people miss this, and this is key, because this is going to, and some people, they think, oh, I only need to lose a few kilos, when you check their height and weight, like how tall they are and what they should actually be, usually, they need to lose a lot more than what they thought. So when you show them this height and weight chart, they realise, oh, okay, I think I do need to lose that much. Okay, so they agree with you. So you check how much they need to lose, gain, or whatever, wherever they're at. And then you go into the reading is the body fat. And with the body fat, I always just pull out this wellness pass. Okay, this is the wellness pass that you put your details on here. And inside, you give them the results of from what their scan was. And so I always show them the body fat range. So whatever their age is, I have a look at, okay, your age is, say, 20. And if you're 20, your body fat should be, I always say like this, your body fat should be, and I read out the figures between excellent to healthy. So you never want to say, because the readings are excellent, healthy, medium, and obese. So a lot of people are in the obese category, but you don't want to say, oh, your body fat, oh, you're obese. It's in the obese, because it's not a good way to let them know that their body fat is considered obese. So what's better to say is, okay, this is your age, your body fat should be between this and this, and usually it's double that. Their body fat's usually almost double than what it should be. So I say to them, your body fat should be between this and this, and it's actually double that. So put yourself at risk of cholesterol. I say this. Okay, so it's a nicer way to say it, but it still hits home with them. And then I usually say to them that it's related to excess carbohydrates like bread, pasta, potato, rice, and all the sugars that you're consuming. If it's not burnt off, it's going to contribute to body fat. And that's all I say about body fat pretty much. Okay? And then the next reading is body water. And water is such an easy thing to do, because I say to them, people underestimate how much water that they actually really need. And it's something so simple to do, and it's just about creating a good habit. And then I show you this this page here about the importance of drinking water. And I just rattle off exactly what's on this sheet. I say, look, lack of water makes you feel tired and sleepy, migraine, headaches, constipation, muscle cramps, irregular blood pressure, kidney problems, and dry skin. And then I just sort of show a little bit about, I just basically read a few things that's on the page. And most people don't drink enough water as it is. So I always give them a little bit of advice. I say minimum 2 to 3 litres of water. So aim for a litre between breakfast and lunch, and a litre between lunch and dinner, and then you'll make it a habit. And then by this stage, they're really impressed with the information we're giving them, because really we're giving them all of this information for free, whereas nowhere else can they go and not have to get this information for free. And you know, we are giving them really good advice already, even if it's just about the water, and they're already thinking, wow, these people are really nice and they know what they're talking about. Okay. The next reading is the muscle mass and physique rating, and I don't go into this too much with them. Okay. All I generally say is the muscle mass and the physique rating is giving you an indication of how much the ratio of muscle and fat in your body. I always say the muscle mass number that's there's no right or wrong. The higher the muscle mass, the better, because more muscle mass will increase your metabolic rate, which burns fat, is what I say. And the physique rating, I go back to this wellness pass. So I'm basically working off their wellness pass. And if they're between 1 to 3, if you read it, it says hidden obese, solidly built. I basically say if you're in this category, you have a good muscle mass but too much body fat. And you want the opposite. You want more muscle, less fat. And if they're between 4, 5 and 6, they're in the standard category, so they have average muscle, sometimes average body fat, sometimes still high body fat, but their muscle's not quite high. So I say the same thing. You've got to have more muscle, less body fat. So essentially I'm giving the same advice, whichever category they're in. And if they're in the 7, 8 or 9, it's usually that they're underweight. You'll find that they're thin and muscular or very muscular. Or they're an athlete. That will come in the end figure, end side. And then the basal metabolic rate is the next one. And basically this is, I say to them that this is the amount of calories their body needs at rest. So if they're not doing too much exercise, that's generally the amount of calorie that their body needs. And I tell them that at this point that, don't worry, I don't get my clients counting calories because, you know, it's too confusing and it's too difficult, but I want you to be aware of calories. Okay? And then the next reading is metabolic age. And basically I always say most people's metabolic age actually is higher than what their real age is. So I always say to them, you always want to be your age or younger. And I always put it in terms of bag of rice or a bag of potatoes. Like if they're 10 kilos or 20 kilos overweight, I'll say to them, imagine a 20 kilo bag of rice, how heavy that is. Do you think you can carry that for long in your arms? And they'll say no. And I'll say, but your body is carrying that 24 hours, 7 days a week, so can you imagine how much pressure you put on your organs? And so then, oh, okay, yeah. So then, you know, they sort of can understand it a bit better why their metabolic age is quite high. But when they see their metabolic age, most people know already that inside they're feeling terrible and they're tired and they've got aches and pains. So most people, that really hits home with them as well, the metabolic age.
Is it true with the Ali, the scales? Some of the scales peak out to 80.
Yeah. So when the metabolic age, most scales only go up to 50. So if it's 50, there's two ways. That just depends on who I'm sort of speaking to, but you can say that, look, the metabolic age is showing at 50. You could be higher than 50. Actually, the scale only goes up to 50. But when you start our products, or when you do look at our products, we scan you again and once a month, and you'll see your metabolic age come down. The other way to look at it is that I'm trying to remember what with that 50.
Because if they're over 50 anyway, if they're 60.
Yeah, so that's what I say. Like, one option is that you can say to them is that the scale only goes up to 50. So you may in fact be 50, or you may in fact be older than that in your metabolic age. But when you do start our products, once a month we scan you and we can see that figure come down.
Because if somebody's 60 and they get a reading of 50,
yeah.
they'll get it.
Or you can say that can be one positive thing, that their metabolic age is 50. But it's better probably to say that the first way, because as they start losing their weight, their metabolic age will come down anyway.
Yeah, Dad came up with a good way to combat that. He writes, if they're 50, and he writes 50 plus, a little plus sign. So he says it only goes up to 50, so when you start getting healthy with the products, you're going to see that come down.
Yeah.
You know, so they can see it's 50 and they know that it could be anywhere up above that if they're not feeling great. 50 plus.
Yeah. 50, yeah.
And there are different models of the scales which do different readings for the metabolic age. So some of them, you know, ours, I don't think there's a limit on our one. It takes us sometimes up to 70, 80 years old.
Wow.
So it depends on how much you invest in your scale. So it's no problem either. We've got
It-
a cheaper version scale or
Yeah.
a more expensive.
How much does one of them cost?
You know, there is little.